11. The universal presence. Subject and object are the essential tick-tock. Phenomena are whole mind tick-tocking as subject-object, seer and seen, which are a split unity in time. Every object is a facet of subject, and nothing but subject itself, whereas subject is an objectivization of subjectivity and, as such, quite unreal. Realized, that which is whole and real is mind, unself, the void, or whatever label you may use. In conceptual language, can one point more nearly in the right direction towards the universal presence? Note, split mind is a timepiece, and as such, its mechanism is an escapement, each half of which momentarily arrests the flow of movement in alternation, tick-tock, tick-tock. Verity. 12. One. What are you and how do you know it? 2. I am pure consciousness and I know it because I love. 1. The first is so, the second is not. 2. Why is that? 1. Because you say it. 2. I don't understand. 1. Pure consciousness cannot say, I love. 2. Why not? 1. It cannot be said by pure consciousness, but only by an identified object. 2. What then can I say as pure consciousness? 1. Pure consciousness cannot say, I love, even via an identified object, but it can say, I am love. If the answer to my question had come direct from whole mind, that is the way you would have transmitted it. Two, then those teachers who use the form I ... in order to reveal the truth are wrong to do so? 1. It might be better to say that the form of words in question is open to objection. 2. Because 1. They are speaking to the identified, and the identified cannot speak direct from pure consciousness. Therefore, when they repeat the words, applying them to themselves, inevitably the I concept intervenes and seeks to apply the statement to itself. It cannot be excluded as long as it is there. 2. By saying what I am rather than what I do, that is avoided. 1. It is nearer the truth. 2. An example to make it clearer? 1. As many as you wish. The Maharshi did not love. Never, never. He was love, or, more exactly, Karuna Caritas, Prajna Gnosis. Pure consciousness is and does not. Two, and that applies to Jesus also? 1. Did he say God loves or God is love? 2. If I have understood, then love itself does not exist, nor hate? 1. Of course not. 2. nor impersonal, unpossessive love, asking no return and unaccompanied by jealousy. 1. That too would be a thing. 2. Nor affectivity, knowledge, ignorance, cognition, prajna, karma. 1. Things, all things. The unending dualistic process of imagining entities and things. 2. You have been leading me astray. 1. Neither more nor less than those who knew so much better than I. Truth can only be pointed at. Tant bien que mal. The sages often enunciated an apparent doctrine, and then casually mentioned that of course nothing of the kind really existed. At all costs, they sought to avoid the danger of dogma. 2. The closer to the truth, the less meaning words have to the many. 1. At first, the words "I am love" would seem nonsense. At the last, they alone mean anything. 2. Because they alone are nearly true, or I am knowledge. 1. Knowledge, cognition, gnosis, love, affectivity, compassion, prajna, karuna, sat, chit, ananda, being, consciousness, bliss. None exists as a thing, and all are one. 2. Then I am consciousness, or I am being, or better still. 1. There is no better. Each is an aspect of the others. But conscious needs no ness, just as being can have no article, which would make it an entity, as ness would make the former a thing. 2. One should be content with I am. 1. One should hold one's tongue. If you must gab, speak to someone who will understand, however incorrectly you say it. 2. Then how can one teach? 1. Those who were qualified to teach, those few, like the Maharshi, said that silence was more efficacious. But in early stages, teaching can only be given via a series of untruths, diminishing in inveracity in ratio to the pupil's apprehension of the falsity of what he is being taught. 2. That is devastating. 1. Not at all. It is just education. Truth cannot be communicated. It can only be laid bare. "13. The kingdom of heaven on earth. Philosophers, theologians, moralists, sociologists, anyone who spends time considering the troubles of mankind, their wrongs, griefs, miseries, conflicts, ambitions, personal and general, have analyzed these things and attributed them to almost everything from Satan to heredity. Literature is largely composed of the problems arising from this search for the cause of what is called evil. But you have only to sit back and think for a few moments in order to perceive what is called evil has only one cause, a most obvious one, that is neither Satan nor heredity nor anything in between. It is the I concept, the notion of an individuality, of a separate self. Take that away, and nothing deriving from it can remain. For all derive from pride, greed, envy, desire, ambition, etc., all of which are manifestations of egoism, or what is commonly called selfishness. Were every human being suddenly to lose that notion, which we know to be unfounded and quite unreal, all these evils, indeed all evil, would automatically cease to exist. That is theoretical. We know of no means of bringing that about, and it would be the famous millennium. Only an infinitesimal minority of individuals have succeeded in realizing that they are not such. But is there any reason why the upbringing and normal education of every child should not be directed, indeed consecrated, to that end? Such a process would not produce a millennium created by selfless men and women. No, it would not. But in whatever degree it succeeded in weakening the notion of self, the preoccupation with self, to just that degree would life on earth come to resemble the kingdom of heaven. "14. I am not. The negative path. The Buddha alone seems explicitly to have preached the doctrine which declares that the universal presence knows no I. Here, the impersonality of pure consciousness, inaccessible to the process of identification, represents the plenitude of the void. The innovation hereby involved lay in avoidance of the intrusion of the I concept, which occurs elsewhere every time ultimate reality is identified with Atma or I reality. Both visions are true vision, but that of the Buddha obviates an immense obstacle. The words "I am not" are senseless. Is this not a clear intimation that they should be true? Pure consciousness is what is, nothing else is. So I am not. When we shall have digested that, we may not hope that at last we shall find that indeed we are not. When we shall have digested that, may we not hope that at last we shall find that indeed we are not? Having searched for the truth in the guise of I am, perhaps we shall find it in the guise of I am not. We have said that we are it, but we cannot be it, for there are no we. We have said that it is we, but it cannot be, for the same reason. There being no we, there is only it, unknown to itself. Nor can it be, for there is no thing. That must be why it is called the void, and the void must be the void, just because nothing is, and there is no one to be. And the universal presence is at the same time a universal absence, for there is nothing to be present and nowhere for a presence to be. 15. Perception. A perceiving is in itself pure, i.e., impersonal and real. The interpretation that follows introduces subject and object, and the result is a concept that is unreal. That is why there is no perceiver, nothing perceived, and only the perceiving really is. It is a manifestation of pure consciousness. Thisness. All things and all sentiments are interpretations only, and interpretations cannot be real in any sense. If this is understood with insight, it becomes clear that only mind is, and that it is an impersonal non-entity, and that whoever is conscious of this is this and nothing else. Reality is necessarily intemporal. Any object of perception appears as a reality in time. But since there was a period before it existed, and there will be, or is now, a period in which it has ceased to exist, it cannot be a reality. This demonstrates that what is real in time is unreal in intemporality, or, as we more categorically see it, the object is not real at all. There is no doubt, nothing whatever that is real in time. Isness. Non-manifestation is isness. Manifestation is isness objectified by an apparent subject that is itself an object. This, we as that pseudo-subject can recognize as one kind of that which we know as a dream. Knowing, understanding this, we should find ourselves abolished, so that the dream should vanish and only non-manifestation, timeless and immutable, remain. Milarepa 2. To discover the non-existence of the personal ego and, therefore, the fallacy of the popular idea that it existeth. In realizing the non-existence of the personal ego, the mind must be kept in quiescence. To subdue the illusion of belief in a personal ego.